Hi everyone. Happy Hustle Show on a Thursday. How was everybody's Easter? Let me know. I'll give you a chance to jump on. You can let me know how your Easter was. I had a really lovely Easter weekend. I took some time off, spent some time with friends, two two additional friends from one other family in the garden, per the rules. Just had a really chill time. Hi, Joe. And the most exciting thing about today, and the reason why I'm doing the Happy Hustle show at lunchtime, as you know, this show just appears whenever it fits in my diary. But normally on a Thursday, I do this in the evening because I'm normally going on to do another couple of lives. But this afternoon, I've got my COVID vaccine. So I'm so excited. But I thought I would kind of clear my diary for this evening. Just in case I'm not feeling like 100%, although I fully intend to be still going right after it. But it feels exciting. It feels like, I don't know, like definitely light at the end of this tunnel now. And it's a day out. Like I'm allowed to cross our local authority border. Hi, Ruth. For genuine reasons. Hi, Susan. So yeah, I'm going to go super early because, well, I don't know how strict they are about like the timing. I assume it's a military operation. My time is 2:32. I like that. I'm a fan of meetings and things that start at odd times because Highland, because there's just something a bit more memorable about that. So if my vaccine was at 2:30, I'd be like, oh yeah, I think it's 2:30. But I've known for it's more than 2 weeks since I got the letter that's at 2:32. My friend's at 2:18, so I'm wondering if I'll see her. Actually, I had a meeting with a client this morning, and she was saying to me that they do it in Scotland, I guess. I don't know if this is UK wide, but in Scotland, they certainly do it in postcodes. So although the vaccine centre is not really that near my postcode, it's about, well, maybe about I don't know, 6-7 mile drive from where I live. But she said when she got in the queue for it, it was like all her neighbours and, so it's everybody that's in the age group in your postcode. So quite looking forward to a bit of a day out. So anyway, that's why I'm doing the Happy Hustle show now, because I thought I don't really know how the rest of the day is going to pan out. So thanks for coming along, everybody. Oh, it's so nice to see you all. Susan, we got there 15 minutes early and they waved you in. Oh, that's good to know, Susan. I was imagining, I drove down to see where it was at the weekend, and I wasn't supposed to do that because it is slightly over a local authority border. But I thought I didn't know where the centre was at all. I thought I don't want to be stressed about that today. So I felt if the police had stopped me, I would have had a reasonable reason for going across the local authority boundary. Anyway, when I went there at the weekend to have a look at it, it wasn't a vaccine centre at that point. I don't know how many days of the week they're using it as a vaccine centre. But I was imagining like a big military queue outside and some sort of, I don't know, take paracetamol now. Do you know what I did, Trudy, this morning? This is like on no medical advice whatsoever, other than watching that press conference yesterday about AstraZeneca. And I'm not a vaccine skeptic at all. And I totally get that the risk of COVID is much bigger than the risk of any kind of vaccine. Like that doesn't frighten me. But I did think, wow, so if the side effect that they're concerned about here is blood clots, what if I just took an aspirin? No medical background whatsoever. So I took an aspirin this morning, but I'll maybe take a couple of paracetamol. Please say hello to the volunteers that are unpaid. They'll be the ones herding people, not doing the reception desk or vaccinations. So that's good to know, Ruth. Yeah, I will do. I mean, it's incredible the way, I don't know. Obviously, it's been a horrific year, but there's been so many examples of the helpers, hasn't it? And that just absolutely warms your heart. Look for the helpers. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you both had yours. You had to sit there for 15 minutes after you had the vaccine. Did you have the Pfizer one, Lynn? Because I thought I saw something about that was maybe only for the Pfizer one, but I might have picked that up wrong. Yeah, well, if I do have to sit somewhere after it for 15 minutes and it's a whole load of my neighbours, then this is going to be the best day out ever if you're allowed to socially distance chat to them. I don't know. Yeah, Lynn, let me know which one you had. It's quite, I don't know. I just feel like I've actually, I've got my like suitable top on, so my arm's accessible. It's been a lot of thought going into today. It's very exciting, and I might even go out and like grab a sandwich from a shop or something and just wait in the car park. But it's good to know. You sit if you're a driver. Oh, okay. Well, I will be a driver. Do you know why I'm a driver? Because the Masters is starting at 1 o'clock, and my husband is absolutely golf mad. So I said to him today, do you want to like take your lunch a bit late? He's working from home. He will be working and nip out. And he's like, oh, I can't because the Masters. But actually, he's got a meeting as well. But really, I think it's because the Masters has started. He doesn't want to miss the golf. If I said you'd need to wait 15 minutes if you're driving, oh, okay. If being chauffeured, you can usually leave straight away. Ah, good to know. Yeah, the Pfizer one. Yeah. I'm assuming I'm getting AstraZeneca. I think there's a bigger supply of AstraZeneca, isn't there, in Scotland? But anyway, it'll be fine. It'll just be, and I'm so excited that I'm getting it now because it might mean that I get the next one like before the summer holidays, before July. It'll be tight, but it might mean that I get it, which means that I could be fully, yay, you've caught me at work. I would be fully vaccinated for the summer, which then vaccine passports and all might open up, particularly the Disney cruise that I've got my eye on around the UK. Anyway, okay, so let me talk about feeling. I was thinking about this morning, and I was thinking about what you're kind of told about failing at school. So I've got, most of you know, I've got 2 teenagers now, but obviously they've recently gone through the full school system. And failing is something that's very much kind of drummed into you that it's not a good thing to do. So both of my sons are now going into, so exams were cancelled, but they're kind of back on again. It's all a wee bit of a mess. It's no one's fault. It's not the school's fault. It's not the SQA fault, but the SQA have kind of now given schools papers, and certainly a lot of the schools in Scotland, definitely the school that my sons go to, have decided that they will have specific exam days. Just so we had those, and then exams were cancelled, so we cancelled them all out, and now they're back. So there are like 2 or 3 days in a row where they'll be doing back-to-back exam style papers in an exam hall, but they won't be marked externally. So it's, it's slightly different. But anyway, because we're in the run up to that, and we're in the Easter holidays, but you can't, when you've got exams coming up, you can't really just take a holiday. So both my sons are working or studying, but just trying to balance the whole, how do you get the grades that you need without, going over the top and not doing, it's just that balance, isn't it? How do you do the right amount of work to get the grades that you actually need? But the big thing that they both talk about is failing. I don't want to fail this. It would be an absolute disaster if I failed it. And of course, like, I don't want them to fail it either. And I want them to be motivated by not failing. But actually, when I look back on my life and my whole life experience, I've learned far more from the failures than I have from the successes. Because sometimes when success comes easily to you, there's no lessons there in resilience. There's no lessons there to go, okay, what can I change next time to make sure that doesn't happen again? So there's no kind of ongoing development. There's no evolving process. It's just like easy. And there are definitely, like, my kids have friends who are, okay, so 2 categories of friends that are straight A students. Ones that are straight A students where school just works for them. They would have a theorist learning style, and it just, the whole system just works well for them. And they don't, I'm not saying they don't deserve it and they don't work hard, because you can't get a great set of grades without doing work, but it definitely comes easier for some kids than others. But for those kids that have just gone through life like acing everything, there's probably a challenge with resilience. There's definitely a challenge in evolution. And, when that strategy works for you, you'll tend to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. And if there comes a point where it doesn't, not having had to kind of go into that learning, that problem solving process to find out, okay, how could I tweak this next time? Or how could I be persistent next time and make sure that that works? Or it works differently, or I try a different way for it to work. There's definitely I don't know, there's definitely a skill in that. Like when I was going to uni, so I had a bit of a challenge because my mum died like just a couple of weeks before I sat my A levels, but I only got, so you did 3 A. So I'm in Scotland now where you do 5 hires, but I think most of the UK is still the same. So you have I had 3 A levels to sit, and I got a B, a C, and an O, which was like O level standard on an A level paper, which it wasn't called a fail, but it kind of was a fail. And that was it, but that was enough for me to get into university. That was enough for me to get into. And to be fair, I had a bit of a special dispensation because they took into account my exam grades and my circumstances. But that was enough for me to get to the next bit, to do my degree and then to go on to do my master's degree, etc. So, yeah. There's definitely and then when I look at my side hustles and how everything has evolved, what I really have in my favor and what I know is one of my talents is I'm massively impatient, and that can be a negative in some circumstances, but I just want to do things now. I just want to start the journey. I just want to make sure that I achieve something. And by doing that and just starting somewhere, it helps you to evolve where you're going. Now, the opposite of me, and there's no right or wrong style to be, but I find it heartbreaking to watch people so if we think about learn, I don't know if you're familiar with learning styles, but I'm very much an activist learning style. Like I just want to do it now. I'm very impatient and very pragmatic. For people that are theorist reflector, so they really like a lot of information and they really like to sleep on things. That's a very crudely summarized, but that's kind of would be the main characteristics of theorist reflectors. I just want to put a rocket up their behinds and go, look, it's okay. You need to start. It's okay to fail. It's okay to do something and for it not to work out. What's heartbreaking is when people just don't do anything because they're overwhelmed by the amount of information that they need to get, or the amount of research that they need to do, or the amount of decision or thinking, like sleeping on decisions that they need to do. Like it's fine to have that imbalance, but where that becomes extreme, it stops you from doing anything. And I was reminded of this because I saw a brilliant quote by Rumi this morning. I love Rumi quotes, but this particular one is, when you begin to walk the way appears. And I think that gives me chills, because if you don't begin the journey, you're never going to get to the end. When you start the journey, you don't necessarily have, this is exactly how I'm going to do it in mind. But there's a bravery, there's just an energy around going, do you know what? I don't actually know if this is going to be my final product or service, but I'm going to start. In fact, see, whatever you start with, it's not going to be your final product or service. You're going to go on an entrepreneurial journey. When you start down the side hustle route, it's going to be a journey and it's going to evolve. And it's so interesting to see people. So I've been running Happy Side Hustle for about a year and a half now. And it's so interesting to see the initial idea that people had and where they are now, for those of you that have been with me for a while. And that's so good, because if you hadn't had that initial idea and you hadn't started somewhere, you wouldn't be where you are now. And I can't wait to see where you are in a year's time, because it'll be something different again. But you have to be prepared to fail. You have to drop the stuff that's going on in your head that you were told at school and whatever about failure being something terrible, because you can learn as much from failure. No one goes out on purpose to fail, but it's the fear of failure that stops you from doing anything. You have to be able to just embrace and so you probably heard this before, but FAIL is an acronym for first attempt in learning. And if you think of failure as just a learning, it's just, oh gosh, so I've learned a way to do it or a way not to do it. I've learned what I am going to do next time or what I'm not going to do next time. I've learned that I love that, or I've learned that I really don't love that. It's just a learning. But the only way that you're going to not be successful is by not failing in the first place. Let me just see. That resonates with you, Karen. I'm glad to hear it. You're just what I needed today. I was feeling overwhelmed. What if I don't sell anything? Yeah, Ruth. So yeah, what if you don't sell anything? But what if you do? And and I don't know if you've said this before, Ruth. You probably thought it. Every time I run the 5-day idea challenge, like, it's different people every single time. And every single time on the Thursday, I say to people, what is worrying you about this? And someone always goes, what if I don't sell anything? Or what if I sell too many things? And you're like, neither of those are helpful stories, because neither of them have happened. You're just making it up. What if you don't sell anything? Okay. Have I told you about Colonel Saunders? Right. The only way you cannot sell anything is by giving up. That's the only way. And if you, Ruth, if you're prepared to stick with it, if you're prepared to just go, okay, I'm going to take those lessons and I'm going to try something else. I'm going to pivot. I'm going to slightly change things. I'm going to do some market research. There's so many ways that you can work out how to slightly change things so that you'll sell stuff. If you're prepared to do that, then you're absolutely going to sell it. Yeah, I love that acronym too. Yes, Cassie, your side hustle is completely different to your original idea. Although I still love your original idea, Cassie, just saying. And there's room for lots of different variety in your side hustle. But yes, it is completely different. I've loved watching your journey. Right, I wanted to just share with you some really successful failures, right? And I was looking for ones that weren't Colonel Saunders from KFC. So let me just share 4 with you. No, 5 with you. And actually on this page that I found, the 6th one is Colonel Saunders from KFC, but I'm not going to tell you about him again because I know you're getting bored with him. So Walt Disney, let me tell you, Walt Disney was fired from the Kansas City Star because his editor felt he lacked imagination and had no good ideas. That was the reason for his firing. 1921. So what does it say? Unsurprisingly, he was forced to dissolve the company because he could not pay his rent and was reportedly surviving on dog food. Walt Disney went on to be nominated for 59 Academy Awards and is the greatest animator of our time. So somebody said to Walt Disney, you lack imagination and have no good ideas. What you need to remember there, and you need to kind of frame your life around this, how is this currently presented in your reality? That magazine editor, that newspaper editor, that was his opinion. So that wasn't fact. So it isn't fact that Walt Disney lacked imagination, had no good ideas. That was his opinion. And when someone presents their opinion to you, you can either take that as truth and totally give up and feel rubbish about yourself, or you can go, well, that's not useful. I know that I can do anything. And do you know why you know you can do anything? Because if anyone can do it, anyone can do it. So if you see anybody else in the world that's doing the thing that you want to do as your side hustle, you can do it. You can do it. Second one, Stephen King. So this says, whether you're a horror fan or not, there's no denying the success of Stephen King, but that wasn't always the case. One of his first books, Carrie, was rejected by 30 publishers, one of whom told him that negative utopias do not sell. So that publisher said to Stephen King, negative utopias do not sell. That was his opinion. That was not fact. And it wasn't borne out to be true, was it? Because obviously, Carrie is a really famous book and movie by Stephen King. Number 3, Oprah Winfrey. Oprah was born into working class poverty. She was the daughter of a teenage low-income mother and was pregnant at 14, and her son died shortly after as he was born. Horrific. Eventually, she scored a job in journalism, but things weren't always easy. One of her first TV jobs ended abruptly after the producer declared she was unfit for television. That was the producer's opinion. Do you see where I'm going with this? That was the producer's opinion. Was the producer correct? No. Was that factual? No, because Oprah has gone on to be one of the richest women in the whole world. So again, if Oprah had let that producer, if she had accepted that as fact, if she had let that knock her, now when people say things, it doesn't make you feel great. Like if people are saying things like that, you have to accept that that's rotten. But you either go, so that means I'm going to completely give up because this person had an opinion, or I'm going to be resilient and I'm going to focus on my destination, focus on my side hustle dream, and I'm going to make it happen. 2 more. J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling, obviously Harry Potter. By the time she had finished the first of the Harry Potter books, she was divorced, on welfare, with a child to support. Furthermore, all 12 major publishers rejected the Harry Potter manuscript. Finally, a year later, Bloomsbury accepted it and extended a very small £1,500 advance. No doubt it was one of the best decisions the publishing house has ever made. So 12 publishers. J.K. Rowling was desperate. She was struggling to actually feed her daughter. But she was resilient. She believed in herself, and she didn't let 12 publishers saying her manuscript wasn't good enough be enough to put her off. And the final one, because I won't tell you about Colonel Sanders, is Bill Gates. So Bill Gates, now one of the world's wealthiest men, struggled to find his niche early on. He started Traf-O-Data, a business that created reports for roadway engineers with raw traffic data, with 2 other businessmen. The company did achieve a measure of success by generating some income, but allegedly the machine they built to process the data tanked when they tried to present it to a Seattle County traffic employee. This didn't stop Bill, and the lessons he learned from the traffic data company helped him find one of the world's biggest companies. Once again, you put all your effort into something, you put it out there, and it maybe doesn't completely hit the heather the way you're hoping it was going to. You just evolve, you just tweak, you just work out, okay, how could I do this slightly differently? What could I do that's slightly different to this? What else brings me joy that I could try now? We're all on a path. We're all on an evolving path. But the only way that we're going to fail is to not start. As Rumi says, when you begin to walk the way appears. Anybody that is listening to this is walking the way. Pat yourself on the back for that. Be delighted that you have put yourself out there. The majority of people don't have a side hustle, even though it would bring them joy, even though they'd love an extra income, even though they'd love a pot of money for joy. The majority of people are not brave enough to even start. You have started. It is not going to be a smooth path. It's going to be a roller coaster. But I want to make sure at every point that you do not let yourself go, oh no, I'm going to give up. Everything, all of those people that I've just spoken to you about are all massively successful and international names. You could be one of them if you wanted to. It depends what your side hustle vision is. In the Happy Side Hustle community, we're here to support each other. We're here to create an environment of joy and support. So you're journeying with like-minded women. When you go in there and you say, I've had a sale today, it's amazing. And I really feel the genuine support and just love for each other. It's so lovely. And sometimes people put something in and go, listen, I've not sold any of these yet. I wonder what it is. And the support and advice that people give is wonderful. And I really appreciate it, all of you, for keeping the vibe high, because you can ask questions in I wonder if there's a way that I could make this better. Or you can say, I've not sold any of these, I'm going to give up. And I see that in plenty of other Facebook groups. I'm so appreciative for the joyful environment that you guys really help to just to hold each other within the Happily Side Hustle community. You're in the right place if you feel like you're having a wobble, or you're feeling like you're having an obstacle, or you feel like you're having a block. It's completely normal. The only way you wouldn't be feeling that is if you didn't do it in the first place. That would keep you in total safety if you didn't do it in the first place. But how much less joyful or less meaningful would your life be? Okay. Thank you for coming along to join me today. Getting overwhelmed with social media content posting. Yeah, Lynn. So Lynn, here's the key with social media content posting. It just needs to be consistent. But you can post once a day. You can post once every 3 days. You can post once a week. The more you post, the more visible you will be. But you don't want anything in your side hustle that starts to feel less than joyful. You're going to pare it back. You're going to pare it back. So there's so many places that you can be posting on social media as well. You don't need to do all of them. You absolutely don't need to do all of them. Sometimes it's better just to do one really well. So in the Hive, we have looked at Facebook in the bootcamp. We've looked at Instagram. We're now looking at Pinterest. My suggestion to you would not be to do all of those all the time, multiple posts a day, because that's absolutely overwhelming. I want you to try them all so that you can go, okay, this is one that I really feel at home with, I really feel comfortable with, so I'm going to continue to do this. This one I've tried and I've got a presence on, but it's maybe something I'm not going to spend a lot of time on. We're picking things that bring us joy, but marketing in some form has to be part of that. Oh, you're so welcome, Karen. You're so welcome. Okay, I'm going to go because this has been, this has been much longer than usual. I'm going to go because I need to go get my vaccine. So I will see you all again on Monday. I think you might have seen it. Well, no, in fact, it depends if social media showed it to you. I'm going to run a mini training next Thursday night on the 5 mistakes that brand new side hustlers make. And I've seen this more in other groups, to be fair, but I've seen regularly in other kind of new business groups, people saying, oh, I'm just going to do this, I'm just going to do this. And I think, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. But if you don't know, you don't know. So there's 5 things that I want to share with you that you should definitely not be doing as a brand new side hustler. It's a free training in the Happy Side Hustle community. The link for it is beside this. So just click on the link to get notified, because by next Thursday, it'll have gone right back out of your head again, if you fancy coming along to that. But I'll be back for the Happy Hustle show, all being well, on Monday, and I will be vaccinated, so I'll tell you all about it. Okay, take care. Have a wonderful afternoon, everybody, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.